Imagine, just for a second, that it is July 1099. You are standing on a sun-scorched ridge in the Judean desert, and you are looking down at what is, well, it is a literal suicide mission. Below you, you see 12,000 men. Actually, no, they aren't men anymore. They are 12,000 ghosts, standing in front of the most fortified walls on the planet. Jerusalem. They have nothing. No food, no water. You can see them from here. Their horses are eating the leather off their own shields just to stay alive. The heat is so thick you can practically taste the iron in the air. And the worst part, the thing that makes your stomach drop, you look around and realize there isn't a single tree in sight. Not one. By all laws of physics, by every rule of military logic, this is over. You are watching a mass grave in the making. But then, you look toward the coast, and you see something that shouldn't be there. Welcome to Old World Daily. I am your POV into the moments history tried to bury. Most people give you the God's eye view of the Crusades. They talk about kings and popes. But today, we are going into the dirt. We are looking at the one impossible detail everyone else missed. The 6 ships that became a city killer. If you haven't joined the Old World Inner Circle yet, hit subscribe. We are digging through the 2026 archives of things they really didn't want you to see. Let's get into your head. You are a knight. You have been walking for 3 years. You've seen your friends die of plague in Antioch. You've seen things in the dark at Ma'arat that you'll never, ever forget. You finally reach Jerusalem, and you realize it is a furnace. The governor of the city wasn't just a soldier. He was a master of psychological warfare. Before you arrived, he poisoned every single well. He cut down every tree. He is starving you out before the fight even starts. You are drinking horse blood. You are licking the dew off the rocks at 4 in the morning just to keep your tongue from swelling up. You are finished. And then you hear the rumor. 6 Genoese galleys. They didn't just arrive at Jaffa. They trapped themselves. The Fatimid fleet blockaded the harbor. They were sitting ducks. But from your POV on that ridge, you don't see a naval battle. You see something insane. You see the sailors taking their own ships apart. They are ripping the masts out. They are unscrewing the planks. They are destroying their only way home. Think about the absolute audacity of that. They are turning their fleet into a giant wooden Lego set. And then you see them start to walk 30 miles. You are watching thousands of men carrying the skeleton of a navy on their backs through the Judean hills in 100-degree heat. This is the missed detail that changed the world. This isn't a holy war anymore. It is a logistical miracle. You see the Armenian guides, the ghost guides, moving them through the wadis at night. The Fatimids are up on the walls, laughing. They can hear you coughing in the dark. They think you are dying. They don't see the mountain of wood, moving through the shadows, right under their noses. Now, I want you to flash forward. It's the night of July 14th. You are standing under the north wall. You see the massive tower, the one made of ship decking and vinegar-soaked hides. The defenders have been mocking this tower all day. They built their own defenses right in front of it. They know exactly where you're going to hit. It is a stalemate. But then, the sun goes down, and in the pitch black, you hear it, the sound of 1,000 men, whispering. They are dismantling the tower. Again. In one night, they move the entire 3-story monster, a half-mile to the east. When the sun hits the wall the next morning, you see the faces of the defenders. That is the POV I want you to feel. Total, absolute terror. The tower they laughed at is now sitting against a section of the wall that was completely undefended. The bridge drops. The wood of the Genoese fleet hits the stone of Jerusalem, and the world, as you know it, ends. The massacre that followed, it wasn't just a battle, it was a collective psychosis. 3 years of hunger, 3 years of thirst, 3 years of watching your brothers die, hitting those streets all at once. But here's the loop I need to close for you. Everyone talks about the knights, but from your POV in the dirt, you know the truth. The knights didn't take Jerusalem. The timber did. The sailors did. The guys who were willing to destroy their own lifeline just to build a bridge. They are the ones who changed the map for the next 1,000 years. Without those 6 ships, there is no kingdom of Jerusalem, no Templars, no 200-year war. It was a logistical glitch that nobody saw coming. But, and this is where the archive gets, well, it gets deeply unsettling. You have to ask yourself, why? Why would a group of wealthy, calculated Italian mere chance destroy their only way home? From your POV, standing there in the dust, you start to realize this wasn't just a sacrifice, it was a contract. See, the history books, they want you to look at the knights. They want you to focus on the prayers and the religious fervor. But if you follow the wood, you find the money. The Genoese didn't just bring timber. They brought the foundation of a new world order. While the Crusaders were busy rampaging through the streets, the sailors were already at the Temple Mount. They weren't looking for relics. They were looking for, well, let's call it the ledger. This is the level 4 mystery that keeps me up at night. There is a missing 3-day window right after the city fell. A window where the gates were locked, not to keep the enemies out, but to keep the discovery in. Did they find the gold of Solomon? Or did they find something older? Something that required a permanent 200-year military presence just to keep it suppressed? When you look at the rise of the Templars just a few years later, the math doesn't add up. You don't go from a few poor knights to the world's first global banking system by accident. You need a seed. You need an asset. And it all, every bit of it, traces back to those 6 ships rotting in the sun. It makes you wonder, what else is glitching in the timeline right now? What are the 6 ships of our century that we are completely ignoring? I have been digging into the 2026 declassified files on the Battle of Ascalon, the fight that happened just 4 weeks later. Picture this, 12,000 men, facing an army of 50,000, and they win because of a herd of cattle. I am serious. It is the most ridiculous and brilliant tactical move in the history of warfare. But the cattle weren't just animals, they were a psyop. If you want the POV of the cattle charge that saved the Crusade, and the secret deal the Genoese struck to fund the Templar rise, you know what to do. Hit the link in the bio. Stay tuned to Old World Daily. I am digging into the archives as we speak. Should we look at the Holy Lance fraud, or the secret vaults the Genoese were really digging for under the city? Leave a comment. Let me know what you see in the shadows. And as always, keep looking.